Welcome back. This is Inside the Great Outdoors. We're talking about food plots. We're talking about new vehicles. Doc finally got one. We got to talk about fishing. We got
Doc got a food plot?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got a food plot in the
you
back of my new Honda.
Yeah.
I got a food plot.
There you go.
Yeah, boy.
I just got to keep you on your toes, man.
Well, you're doing that, I'll tell you.
That's all. The food plot segment was very educational.
Yeah, it
Was it?
good.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh,
I
good.
thought that thing about
Lots
the
of-
standing corn was
Lots of good,
you know?
lots of good information, and because a lot of people think you can't
Yeah.
plant this late, and you can. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a food plot situation. I know a lot of places the farmers plant winter rye and winter, you know what I mean, the winter
Sure.
crops, but works for food plots too, right before deer season.
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't have thought of that, And in today's day, I mean, feeders are a big thing,
Yeah.
and people are feeding the deer, that are hunting.
I saw some young deer. I mean,
Oh,
fawns.
yes.
A lot of
Yeah.
fawns.
Yes, and some
Means
pretty young
late-
turkeys.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've seen more turkeys out by me. This is the first year I've been seeing turkeys.
So
I've seen quite a few bucks in velvet too, driving around.
Yeah.
I did a lot of driving this past week. So.
were you? Yeah, so one gentleman buys eggs from me. There was a hen turkey with a few young poults, and here comes a red-tailed hawk, and it's on one of the baby turkeys. The hen turkey jumped all over that hawk
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
and beat it up where it flew off and left it, and it chased it because it landed, and it got on it again, and it almost beat it to death.
Yeah.
And he said this little poult was able to fly up to a branch that was maybe 6-7 feet off the ground. This little bird, but he says that hen turkey did a number on the hawk, which is really interesting. Well, they got some. Well, the hen's not as much of a spur. The
They
males,
can beat them.
but yeah,
They got enough spurs to beat them with.
yeah, and their wings are
And
pop-
they're bigger than a hawk.
Yes,
They
yeah.
weigh 3 times as much
Yeah.
as a hawk.
But that was interesting. How it'd be neat to see that happen. But yeah, it's but there are a lot of young small hens, which is they could be a hen, but poults, youngsters. But same thing, right, with the fawns too.
Yeah, I
There's
saw two. What did I see yesterday? I saw two hens and 12 poults.
Ooh,
you know?
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're watching them. They're at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And they watch those.
And
little
it's
ones,
interesting. I'm seeing more two hens with a group than one hen with a group.
Yeah.
You wonder how are they
They're watching
sisters?
for the hawks.
But
I
are
really, they're as protection.
But are they sisters? Are they just two
I
that
don't know.
join together
Could
in
be.
numbers? It'd be interesting. It'd be hard to tell unless you mark them
Coyotes
somehow.
do the same thing with the young ones. You'll often find two sisters that will protect the young ones like that.
But it's that time of year that things are early. Like my buddy, the deer or the antlers are turning. I mentioned the red. What is it? The fire, the bush that turns red. What is it?
Burning bush.
Burning bushes are starting to turn. There's a lot of signs that things are going to be like 2 weeks earlier.
They say that doesn't have anything to do with the winter, though.
Yeah.
I heard somebody who
Yeah.
knows what he's talking about say that.
I kind of like to have a little bit better winter because we've had such mild winters, which are affecting bugs and everything else. You need a good hard freeze, and we haven't had that for at least 2 years, Carl? The ice season is
Probably more than that.
10 days?
Yeah.
And that's it. You know,
Probably been 3 or 4.
that many.
We had a good hard freeze
I'm wondering
for
if things
more
are.
than a couple of weeks.
I wonder if things are changing and it's moving up more north, and we're having more of a mid-continent, winter now, and it'll stay like that, or if that just was.
Well,
Yeah.
there's been some warming, some global warming, but
Yeah.
this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah,
It's not just the last 10 years. This
Yeah.
has been going on at least for some scientists say the last 100 years, some scientists say at least the last 50, 60 years.
yeah,
They were saying in the 70s that it was global cooling, and that was a big mistake. There wasn't any global cooling back then.
Yeah.
That was a mistake, whoever was saying that.
Oh,
It was warming back then, too. And, everybody thinks that people are killed by, a lot of people are killed, by climate changes and weather changes, by these hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. They're killed by mainly water. It's not water. It's heat that kills people worldwide.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they've been talking on the news lately with the political stuff about food. Is it prepared food? Is that the terminology?
I don't know what you're getting at.
Okay, they're saying that we have too much prepared food, or that is
Processed.
Processed. Thank you.
Okay.
Processed food, and how and the younger generation is the one that's suffering from it, and cereal.
Oh, not fresh food.
Right.
Right.
Yellow in cereal is a petroleum product, and the chemicals in this stuff. So what would you?
A lot of your frozen foods too. The colors in them aren't normal colors.
Yeah, they're saying, and they're getting bought off by big companies. They said so many of our processed foods in America are illegal in Europe because of all the chemicals and stuff. It's good they're addressing it, but what kind of things would you say are processed foods? Or maybe what is not? Okay, fresh meat is not.
White sugar.
Yep.
White sugar.
White flour.
Really?
Yep.
So it's not a processed meal like you buy.
It's those two.
Yep.
Mac and cheese in the
Mac
box.
and cheese. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Velveeta
White
cheese.
bread. Some wheat breads.
Yeah.
Really?
Whole wheat bread
Donuts.
is not processed.
Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
High fructose.
So it's what a lot of foods that are
Frozen
normal
dinners.
are made from.
Instant mashed potatoes.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Everything's
Maple syrup. that
Look in your
isn't
cabinet.
True maple syrup.
Right. Look in your cabinet. Pancake mix.
Because then the only safe way is like my one buddy Jeff. He grows potatoes, corn, on and on. I mean, everything he's eating.
Yeah.
At least my moose meat that I still have, which luckily is still in great shape, which I have. I can't believe it's that old, and it's like the day it was.
Burns just like fresh meat, doesn't it?
Yeah. Or the halibut. The halibut has been saved. I'm wondering too if because it's buried in the bottom.
Most things, processed foods, are like canned soups and canned. I mean, it's things that a lot of it has a lot of the fructose and the high corn syrup, glucose, and it has a lot of salt in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And,
I know you guys
salt
have
and
been
sugar
talking
are
about
the main things with, when you're talking processed foods.
So it's also a preservative, so to speak, that they put in foods.
Yeah, they put those in too. That a lot of things you don't need preservatives, but they say you can put it on your shelf it'll last for years.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, I don't want it to last for
Well,
I want to use it.
You see a lot of bread, the white bread especially.
Yeah.
It stays around for a month.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why, I know it's important for people to have a garden.
A lot of the other thing a lot of people don't understand, most of your restaurants, that's all they serve is processed foods.
Really?
Like the chains, the restaurant chains, it's all processed food. Like Bob Evans is like all processed foods, except like the eggs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all processed. It's all,
Well, it's good that they're starting to bring
Applebee's and TGI Fridays and all of those things. It's,
all those meals are made up.
Dip it in a bowl and throw it in water and stir it and throw it in a microwave, and there's your beef tips and noodles.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least they're starting to bring attention to it.
Everything that's white is processed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's why, there's a lot of folks that are growing their own vegetables and going to the local farmers markets and places like that have fresh stuff. But a lot of people don't. They don't cook. They don't.
Right.
There's like a whole generation and a half of people that are like, I don't cook. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
The husband and the wife both work, but the kids are the ones that are suffering.
Sure.
And
kids eat chicken fingers and hot dogs and mac and cheese, and it's like, no.
Oh, man. Yeah, but it's good that they're bringing attention to it, which I had no idea was really that bad. So, but we got to take a break because we're going to talk about food on the other side with Good Cook Keogh. So,
unprocessed food with Joe Keogh.
There you go.
He only uses the freshest ingredients available, no matter what he makes.
Right. We'll talk.
Is that good?
That's great. Okay, we'll take a short break and we'll be back into.
Just behind the bridge, he lays her down. He frowns. My life's a funny thing. Am I still too young? He kissed her then and there. She took his ring, took his babies. It took him minutes, took her nowhere. Heaven knows he'd have taken anything. All night. She wants a young American.
Summer's rolling right along, and so is grilling season. The folks at Northfield Fireplace and Grill are there to make your summer great. They carry a full line of grills, smokers, and pellet stoves, even pizza ovens. Also, outdoor furniture and retractable awnings. And more grilling accessories, spices, and sauces than you can shake a spatula at. Also, it's never too early to get your chimney clean. Mention Inside the Great Outdoors Radio and 1420 WHK and get $25 off. That's Northfield Fireplace and Grill, 63 East Aurora Road. That's Route 82 to you and me in Northfield, Ohio, for all your grilling and fireplace needs.
Hey, it's time to fill your freezer. Stop by and see Dion's Meats at one of their two locations. They're located at the West Side Market, or you can go to the corner of Pleasant Valley Road and York in beautiful downtown Parma. Dion's offers a wide variety of fresh local pork, beef, poultry, and deli meats. They also feature a select line of fresh veal and lamb products. Here at Dion's, our mission is to provide only the best quality of products, selection, and service. In business for over 10 years, Dion strives for customer satisfaction, 100% quality guarantee. We have local products delivered to us fresh every day. With over 28 varieties of fresh sausage, we have something for everyone. Don't know what's for dinner? Let us help you decide with our specialty line of oven-ready products. Dion's prepares everything on-site with fresh, natural ingredients. Dion's Meats, Westside Market, and in Parma.
Whether you're a novice or a well-seasoned angler, if you want that extra edge in catching more fish, you want one of the many species of Kodiak scent. Made from real bait fish, Kodiak fishing scents are made from pure freeze-dried bait. Freeze-drying enhances the scent considerably, making it the most potent fishing scent available to the fishermen today. It comes in many flavors, including shad, crayfish, salmon egg, and the most popular, minnow. Add the paste to your lures, it really sticks. And when a fish hits, it doesn't let go. And if you use tube jigs, try the tube injector. This handy syringe is made especially to be inserted into a tube jig. Kodiak fishing scents are now available online at castaway.com. That's castaway with a K.com. If you want to catch fish, you want Kodiak from Coulis.
This segment is brought to you by Cozy Nose. With a simple pinch of the soft trim around the nose, the Cozy Nose neck warmer effectively blocks the warm breath from escaping and fogging eyeglasses in cold temperatures. For more information, check out www.cozy-nose-noze.com.
Until 6 a.m. Raking up the dimes and quarters, slinging eggs and ham, scrambled poached or over easy, coffee black and strong, jukebox of scratchy records, I play 'em all night long. Eternal blue neon, we never close when the world is asleep. Darling, come take a seat. You can always eat at Joe's.
Eat at Joe.
If that don't put a smile on your face, everybody here, if they're not laughing, they're smiling, which is good.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
How's it going there, Keo?
Good. Interesting discussion you were just having about processed foods and that.
Yeah.
I tell you, thinking back, a lot of us growing up, we've talked about this before. We never went, or if we went to a restaurant, it was such a rare occasion.
Oh, it was an occasion of sorts.
Right. It wasn't a.
Yeah. And it was a really good restaurant we go to, like the food bar at Kresge's dime store or something,
The counter at Woolworth's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was always my reward when I was in school. It was a hot roast beef sandwich at the counter at Woolworth's
with mashed potatoes.
And
gravy.
And lots of gravy.
Yeah.
And then Mom would buy me a little packet of those orange circus peanuts, and I thought I was in heaven.
Yeah.
Oh God, those are the worst.
Absolutely. And I don't know what the heck they were. See, today, if that's a form of child abuse.
Well, yeah, we talk about that from time to time. Those are absolutely the worst concoction ever devised by man.
Nasty.
But you're a kid, you don't care.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not used to that. Yeah, that's funny. But most of your chain restaurants are like that. It's all prepared.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
They just reheat it.
Yeah.
And
where's the recipe? Look on the back. It says directions.
Right.
Put in microwave on 4 for 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's another reason though to go local with your mom and pop type eatery.
Yeah.
Or your family owned. Where they're a one-off. We've got several in the area here, in the county. There's Cerna's in Auburn, East Washington. They have a huge farm in Auburn, and a lot of their food, they make their own sausage. They're known locally for their homemade pasta. They make their own pasta.
Yeah, because their bar where it all started is just down the street from my shop in Bedford, where I had it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they on Mondays they have a hamburger for $10, which is humongous, and they have specials. So they've seen there is a market that, you know, that they can cater to, that people need to think about, like you're saying, homegrown, the stuff's made from stuff.
Yeah, homemade.
Yeah, you're right. It's homemade.
It's really homemade, not just a marketing term.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider if you're thinking about going out.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
To eat, but I still do like the Bob Evans hot cakes and sausage. And
oh yeah, they make good sausage.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. They do. But you know, I kind of feel like a squirrel over the last week or so between putting up things for the winter.
Yeah.
We spent yesterday. We put the Camp Chef stove to work outside, and we did a lot of canning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many pints or quarts did we set. Oh, we set up 15 quarts of tomatoes.
Wow.
How did you process them?
Well, we used the water bath method of canning. We actually, you know, because it was turned out to be a pretty warm day, we moved the kitchen outdoors. We put up a folding table and set up the Camp Chef burners, and we had probably, I don't know how many tomatoes, but
did you just chunk them, or what did you do? How did you get them ready for the canning?
Well, what we did was we had a kettle going with boiling water.
Yeah.
And we blanched
the
tomatoes.
Right.
And then dunked them in cool water.
Right.
Or no, we actually didn't even do that. We just had them laying out.
Okay.
And then once they cooled a little bit, the skin peels right off.
Right.
Then you pop them in another. I've got it for canning and things like that. I've got 3 or 4 really large bowls, you know, like out of either stamped steel or spun aluminum, and makes it really handy when you're doing large batches of anything.
Yeah.
But once the tomatoes cooled, we peeled them and then popped them in another kettle, put it on the burner, and cooked them down. And so there were whole tomatoes, but they kind of start to break apart as you.
So it has the seeds in it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, the other way to do it is to put it through a food mill. You don't need to pre-boil or take the skins off. You just kind of run them through this food mill. It's a hand crank arrangement.
Yeah.
And it takes the seeds.
The
skin off.
Yeah.
And then what you're left with is the pulp and the juice.
Right.
But we chose not to do that. We do have a food mill.
What would you do with the pulp?
Tomatoes that we thought.
Is that discarded?
No, the pulp.
The pulp is what you. The pulp is what you eat.
Oh,
you're thinking of the skin and the seeds, right?
Yeah, because I would. Okay, you don't have skin because I wanted
chickens.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do is to freeze dry some tomatoes, and what I was going to do is just put them in a blender and blend the heck out of them, and then put them on trays, freeze them, then freeze dry them, and then I'd have a powder that I could add to different things.
Sure.
Okay, because I like everything, it's getting to that time where you have an abundance of tomatoes and different things. So it would.
So then after you get the tomatoes blanched and peeled, and you cook them down in a big pot, then you take your what, depending on what size, you could use pint or you could use quart. We chose quart.
Okay.
Mason jars, and then you sterilize those. You want those as germ-free as possible.
Okay.
And then you fill them to with like a 1/4 inch of the rim.
Okay.
Of the top of the jar, and then you put a lid on it, and you don't crank it down really hard. You just
snug it,
spin it on there firmly.
Yeah.
Yeah, snug it, and then I think we can do 7 at a time in our water bath.
And most of them are like
kettle.
about 7, yeah.
Yeah. And then 45 minutes. The one thing you want to do with most tomatoes these days is that they're kind of low acid. They've been bred that way over the years.
Yeah.
And so you add, for a quart, they suggest 2 tablespoons of lemon concentrate.
Oh.
So that's what we did.
Okay.
And that'll bring the acidity up to the point where you don't have to worry about botulism.
Oh, okay.
In the water bath method.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to use the water bath method in anything that's low acid.
Okay.
Because it's just not, if you wanted to, like, say, for instance, green beans or, no acid, you'd have to pressure can those.
Oh, okay.
It brings it up to a much higher temperature to make sure you have no little organisms living in it afterwards. So
what and then how are you going to utilize
45
them?
minutes. Well, we put them down in the pantry in the basement, and they'll keep indefinitely down there.
But then what are you going to make with them? How are you going to
usually make any kind of
sauce?
What Jay used to call Sunday gravy. Yeah.
Oh.
You take any kind of sauce. If you're making any kind of pasta, usually what we use it is in pasta.
Okay.
You could you put it in a blender and make tomato soup.
Yeah.
For later on.
Yeah.
But mostly pasta dishes.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Or lasagna, that kind of thing, or chili.
Oh, okay.
So then, and of course we also, we've been watching property that friends of ours own. They have a little farm, and we've been tending their garden and their chickens and that while they were out of town this past week.
Yeah.
And doing watering and things like that. So we've got a ton of purple plums, the Italian style plums.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a ton of those things that we made some prunes in our dehydrator.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
I've never done that before. Yeah. And then we also took some and just pitted them, and we have them on a tray in the freezer right now. We're going to vacuum seal them.
Oh, good. Okay.
Probably later today.
Yeah. Good.
But between that and canning and cutting and splitting and stacking wood and everything, I do feel like a squirrel.
There you go.
Trying to get ready
Very
for
good.
winter.
Okay. Going to have some good news for us later?
I'll sure give it a whirl.
I'm sure you will. Appreciate the info there, Joe. That was good. That's because I think that canning thing is becoming more and more popular.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go into Walmart and you got all kind of canning supplies and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I tell you what, a couple of years ago, we needed to replenish our supply a little bit of lids and jars.
Yeah.
And they were hard to find.
Oh,
and people, there was a run on them.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Discount Drug Mart has those too,
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty.
Yep.
Well, we'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, guys.
See you, Joe.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, that's canning is becoming a very popular thing anymore.
You know what else is popular?
What?
Commercial breaks.
Okay. And it's kind of going along with the processed foods.
Yeah.
People are getting aware of it. So, okay, we'll take a short break and be back.
Hey everybody, Bob France live in studio with our friend Bill Gardner from Empire Window Company. Hey Bill, what makes Empire Window Company different?
One thing that makes us different is 64 years in the business. The relationships that we've built, the savings that we've earned over the years, we're able to pass this on to you as the customer.
And Bill, you have been providing savings for people all summer long. What an amazing deal that's been going on. Buy 2, get 2 windows free, a house of siding for 50% off, gutter guards 40% off, and offering no interest and no payments for 2 years. Is there still time to get that deal?
There's still time. I'd say call now.
And this is a good time to do it, right? Because, yeah, summer's coming to a close, and that's usually followed by fall, which brings...
Unfortunately, the leaves.
They're going to clog up our gutters, and we're going to have a pain in the rear end getting them down. Let's get those gutter guards on now. And, of course, following the fall, we get the cold weather. Why wait until it's cold outside?
There's no time like the present. Let's get them buttoned up before the fall even gets here.
Get the summer sale while it's going on at EmpireWindowCompany.com. Call that phone number, 855-76-EMPIRE. That's 855-76-EMPIRE. Bill, why?
You deserve a fair price.
Coming to Sandusky this October 24th, 25th, and 26th, the Midwest Crappie Alliance presents the Sandusky Shootout and Crappie Expo. Crappie professionals from all over the country will converge on Sandusky to fish the bay and local rivers for America's favorite panfish. Weigh-ins will take place at the Shelby Street Boat Basin. Don't competitively fish? Check out the free Crappie Expo at the Cedar Point Sports Complex. Boat dealers, electronics, rod makers, and many, many tackle manufacturers will be on site to help you unlock one of the best-kept secrets in Ohio fishing. For entry information and all the tournament details, stop by MidwestCrappieAlliance.com. That's MidwestCrappieAlliance.com.
Join me, Dennis Prager, on an unforgettable Bible cruise to the Caribbean, November 29th to December 8th, 2024. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun, surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. Amid profound conversations, I'll share about the Bible and my insights into current events in a way that I believe you will really enjoy. Secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
This segment is brought to you by Discount Drug Mart, the stores that save you the runaround, an employee ownership company serving Ohio for 50 years.
I was tired of my lady.
Welcome back. Listening to Inside the Great Outdoors. And there's some real heavy rain there, Carl. Just to the west of us.
Cleveland, from Lorain
to
Cleveland and a little bit further east,
there's
like a 67% chance of rain.
Well,
it got real
down
dark
south.
here.
It did get dark.
It's going to hit like the northeastern corner of Ohio.
Yeah.
And then, but further to the south, it said no. And then further to the west, it was like not as much.
There is more coming. It's yellow over the lake. It depends if it'll
there's
dissipate.
storms. There's rain over the lake from Lorain, maybe a little bit west of Lorain.
Yeah.
And then it's on a line.
Right.
It's the wind's out of the northwest, so it's coming right towards Cleveland area.
Yeah.
And then it'll be down to the east, and it's.
Are you going to go fishing later?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll probably take a nap today.
Yeah.
I stayed up late Friday and went fishing Saturday.
Yeah.
And actually went fishing Friday morning, too. And didn't get a nap Friday. And stayed up till, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and went to bed.
Yeah.
And got up at 5:30 Saturday and went fishing. Got up at 5 o'clock today, do the show.
How was fishing?
It was awesome.
Oh, good.
Best trip in 2 months.
You're kidding.
Oh,
wonderful.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Where'd you go?
Nimisila.
Oh, you like that?
Yep. It's close. And I can have days like I had Friday and Saturday.
So. How close is it?
20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well,
20 minutes.
Good. Yeah.
So.
Well, isn't things wouldn't you have to say, although it's going to be 90s this week, but wouldn't you have to say that things kind of turn the corner and should be getting more consistently good because of the cooler weather?
It's usually when there's a cool off like this, things start and change and there's a transition period.
Yeah.
So, things have been cool for like a week and starting to steady up a little bit, but then it's going to get hot again. So the transition's going to continue. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of up and down at this time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same every, mid
So
to late August. It's always the same.
So today could be different than tomorrow, which could be different the next day.
Today should be pretty good. Tomorrow, maybe a little less.
Okay.
And as temperatures get warmer and things, it messes them up again. And the fish that were getting more active with a couple of drops and degrees of temperature in the water might, turn sluggish again. So.
Oh, okay.
It's just, that's fishing, though.
Yeah.
We were talking about catfish, how you clean them. I clean a catfish just like I clean a regular fish. The electric knife, get the fillet off, and then grab the skin and skin it,
Yeah. I remember we were kids. It was like, you have to nail them to a board and get a pair of pliers and you cut through the skin around behind the fins and then take the pliers and pull the skin off and then fillet it or what. And it's like, you don't have to do that.
No.
Just fillet it like a regular fish. You talk about where the toxins and things are in a catfish. If you're, getting fish out of Lake Erie or whatever, it's in the belly meat.
Yep.
And also in the fat, that dark red meat that's on the fillets. If you trim that off, it'll taste better and be less toxins, because that's where the buildup in
PCBs and the mercury buildup.
Yep, and that's in all fish.
Yeah, same like white bass, especially.
Yeah, white bass, and trim that red meat off.
We did some of the original studies in the late 60s and early 70s because we had where I went to school, college, we had an atomic absorption spectrophotometer.
Ooh, nice.
One of the first ones in the state. And we did white bass and carp and everything else, but the white bass were the ones, and we found that most of the toxins were in the stomach meat,
Yeah.
Lead primarily is what we were looking for.
The same thing with steelhead, because people say, "Oh, steelhead are so fishy." It's like you trim that red meat off
on the sides,
the fat where
it's under the skin,
and under the skin.
Yeah,
that'll take away a lot of that fishy taste. It'll still taste like fish, but it won't be as fishy, as strong. So that's where all the
See, that doesn't bother me, but my wife is really, she can really tell the difference, Yeah. So I always take a sharp knife and trim that off.
Yeah, I don't like fishy fish, but everybody's different, Everybody has their own likes and dislikes.
Does that mean you don't like sardines, Joe?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, I love sardines.
I love them, too.
Oh. Sardines and mustard.
Oh, gee.
Sardines, mustard, onions. It's got to be yellow mustard.
Oh,
yellow mustard.
And some nice onions in there. Some
sliced
nice
white onion.
White onions.
God.
Oh, man, is that good.
On some nice crusty bread.
Oh.
You're crusty.
Mm-hmm.
With a beer, but I don't drink beer anymore. So
I'll drink yours.
Okay, you can have my beer, Carl.
I'm still on the wagon.
I never
or off the wagon or whatever it is.
I'm on the wagon. You're off.
I'm under the wagon.
To me, it's so bitter.
What?
Beer.
Some of it is.
It's all.
They make sour beer.
I don't.
They make sour beer now. They do it on purpose.
It's all bitter. It's all sour to me.
That's too tart.
But it's how you grew up, and I grew up without.
I never liked beer when I was a kid. My dad used to drink it, and my brothers and stuff. And me being the baby, it was, you want to taste my beer?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd take a taste. It was like, hated it.
See, nobody in the family drank beer.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're not subjected to it, you don't like it, but everybody's different.
No, I didn't even like it in, like, when you get to the age where you're trying it, it's like in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
I just never liked it then either. After that, though, it was sort of grows on you. After a nice hot day of mowing the lawn, and then you crack an ice cold beer. Oh,
no, thank you.
We used to have the 3-2 beer. Were you in that stage?
Oh yeah, we'd get 3-2 beer. I remember 3-2 beer. Now it's all like you can get it like 11% alcohol. And stuff.
Really
the
nice.
Really strong stuff.
Yeah. Steve, the tree guy, did right too. About we were talking that it was a treat to eat out. Because the food you had at home was always so good. But it
a lot
has
of people
changed.
Can't cook.
Yeah.
And I don't think
Well, I could
I think they say they can't cook, but they just don't want to try. It's more convenient to go to a restaurant.
Okay, well, it's like me. I don't have time.
Yeah.
By the time I realize it's supper, it's 5, 6 o'clock, you know.
Right.
And I ain't got nothing's taken out of the freezer and that, so, you know, but I mean.
Nobody can burn it the way you do.
No. It's
You're
a talent.
I know.
Well, he's only got 15
I'll tell you what,
minutes
Carl,
to cook.
I think of you every time I
Use
use
your
that
pans?
frying pan because it is like, I can't believe it.
Good.
And I put it through.
That makes me very happy.
Oh,
so.
I had eggs yesterday, and I think, boy, thank you, Carl, because I put those eggs in there, and they slide right off, and I almost burned it. So it ain't ever going to get bad. If it went through what I put it through and it didn't get ruined, I mean, I love it. Every time I use it, I think of Carl. Thank you, Carl, for this frying pan, because it is so nice. I put them eggs in there or whatever. It's mostly eggs, but I use it for whatever because it's a nice size. There's 2. Mm-hmm. And then one for me is the right size, 4 or 5 eggs.
That's why I always say that everybody should work in a restaurant. Learn how to cook a steak or cook a hamburger or cook a pork chop.
Yeah.
Or cook a piece of chicken or, you know, cook bacon. People that know these basic things.
Yeah.
Or how to make pancakes.
Yeah.
Or how to fry an egg. You know, how to scramble an egg properly.
How to boil an egg.
You know what I don't know how? Well, we've got to take a quick break, but to poach an egg, because I remember I bought the thing, but I think I do it too long. You know, nice.
You know, they have a phone line you can call to learn. 1-800-POACHER. Go ahead, call, Joe.
Oh, okay, I'll try that. What are we going to learn on the other side there, Doctor?
Oh, we're going to learn something about what's a fish.
What's a fish? Oh, killed the fish. What's that word?
Gefilte?
Gefilte. Yeah, gefilte fish?
No, not gefilte fish. What's a fish?
Pickled cod.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll take a break and we'll be back.
When we're all alone, keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me.
Summer's rolling right along, and so is grilling season. The folks at Northfield Fireplace and Grill are there to make your summer great. They carry a full line of grills, smokers, and pellet stoves, even pizza ovens. Also, outdoor furniture and retractable awnings. And more grilling accessories, spices, and sauces than you can shake a spatula at. Also, it's never too early to get your chimney cleaned. Mention Inside the Great Outdoors Radio and 1420 WHK and get $25 off. That's Northfield Fireplace and Grill, 63 East Aurora Road. That's Route 82 to you and me in Northfield, Ohio, for all your grilling and fireplace needs.
Did you ever read A River Runs Through It or see the movie? The thing is, fly fishing isn't about catching fish. Oh, sure, that's part of it. But fly fishing is as much art as it is sport. It's about standing hip deep in the water, fly rod in hand, whipping that line back and forth until you finally lay it down in the perfect spot as part of a perfect day. A quick stop at Discount Drug Mart helps make the day even more perfect, with everything from cold drinks to sandwich fixings to bug spray. They even have fishing licenses. Thanks, Drug Mart.
For those that fish Lake Erie and are used to fishing with Dipsy divers, I think you've got to try my diver, Castaway's Magnetic Diver. And what's so neat about it, it's a magnetic release. So you don't have to fight with the problem with the regular Dipsies is that they'll trip. You got to bring them in.
Or sometimes they won't trip.
Or they won't trip. This is a magnetic release, so you let it into the water, and as it has slack, it falls and it sets and then dives. And then when a fish hits it, it trips it, comes to the surface and comes in. But the neat thing about it as well is you can fish with it. You can trip it. You can let it come up through the water column. You can reset it. So it's a great way to get a bait down and away from the boat. So it's Castaway's Magnetic Diver, but it's something, if you're a troller, you need to look into. It's a great product and a great way to make fishing a lot easier and a lot more productive. So order yours today.
Do you enjoy a good story about hunting or fishing? Then you need to get your hands on Tales from the Trails, the real-life adventures of Castaway Coulis. Take a journey around the world with Joe as he recounts some of his best hunting and fishing trips, from Africa to Alaska, from behind the Iron Curtain to Australia. You can share in his memories through the book, complete with pictures to take you on the journey. It's a trip back in time looking through the eyes of an outdoors legend. Order your copy today on Amazon or at castaway.com. That's Castaway with a K.com.
This segment is brought to you by Great Lakes Outdoor Supply, the only place that has all of your outdoor needs.
Jenny got a gun. Jenny got a gun. Whole world's come undone. Looking straight at the sun. What did her daddy do? What did he want you to?
Welcome back. This is Inside the Great Outdoors. So we're going to learn about fish, but I did get a quick note from Mary and would like to know something more about which fish have less mercury, which would be a safer fish. So keep that in mind.
Talk about that
we'll do that there, Mary. So
we'll try and find out for you, Mary.
Yeah. Okay. So what are we going to learn?
We're going to learn a little bit about fish that probably some things that a lot of people don't know.
Okay.
Fish just don't live in the water and swim around, you know. Some have backbones and some are without true vertebrae. Some have scales, some don't. Some swim, some don't. Some have gills, some have special structures, kind of gill-like structures, and some have bladder-like structures that allow them to breathe air. Many fish don't have scales at all, you know, like catfish and eels. Eels are fish. Fish like sharks and paddlefish have a skeleton, but they're made of cartilage, not bone. The hagfish is a very primitive ocean fish with a really fragile kind of cartilaginous skeleton. It's kind of an eel-like looking fish without really true vertebrae, and it can actually tie itself into a knot to actually help it pull the skin off of dead fish. It's its primary target for eating things. It eats a lot of dead fish. Some fish have advanced electrical systems for detecting objects around them. Certain rays, ocean knife fish have that. You know, our fish around here have their lateral line systems for detecting movement in the water. The sharks have their ampullae of Lorenzini in the front to detect electricity. And critters like electric eels, which aren't really eels, their fish too can produce, 500 to 800 volts, and that's enough to just about knock anyone off their feet. And, they use that electricity to find prey and stun it, and also as a protective device. So you see, we have a very diverse bunch of animals. Fish are the most ancient animals, or shall I say, the most ancient vertebrates on Earth, and they developed much earlier than all the land critters. All other vertebrates, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, including our own species, even Joe, can trace their ancestry back to fish. And as Ben Franklin said, house guests and fish smell after 3 days. Well, there are over 30,000 species of fish. About 12,000 are confined primarily to fresh water, and the rest are salties. Fish are the most diverse group of vertebrate animals on the planet. They have adapted to live in multiple habitats. They have really amazing adaptations, like the walking catfish that walked all over Florida since 1968. The flying fish, which really, they don't fly, but they crank up in the water to 35 miles an hour and then leap out of the water and can glide for upwards of like 45 to 60 seconds. Back to two of my favorite fish that we talked about a few weeks ago, the snook and the tarpon. First, the tarpon. If you spend enough time fishing down in the Florida coastal waters, you will eventually see a tarpon roll. This rolling behavior is where they gulp air. Air reaches their swim bladder, and that bladder it gets O2, and it's removed by that bladder. Has a kind of a lung-like tissue in the upper part of the swim bladder. So the tarpon breathes from its gills, and it also breathes air from the swim bladder. They have the capability of switching the method which they're breathing by, depending on the circumstances. Low O2 in the water, they'll gulp some air, goes to the swim bladder, and they get the oxygen out of depleted low levels of O2 in the water. Air is about 21% oxygen, where water is about less than 1% oxygen. That's why tarpon roll and jump during a fight. They're pretty primitive fish, and they're actually more closely related to eels than some other types of fish. Of the 30,000 fish, there are only about 2% of the fish are hermaphrodites. Being a hermaphrodite means that fish can actually change its sex. Now, groupers and snook are examples of this. The fish are born one sex, then at certain ages they'll kind of switch to another sex. They go both ways, so to speak. Some hermaphrodites start out as males, and they can switch back to females. Snook, one of my favorite fish, are born males, and as they get older, they switch to be females. So, if you catch a monster snook, be gentle. You just caught a big mama, and we need her to live to generate future generations of snook. The bigger the snook, the more eggs she can produce, which makes her really important for future snook populations. Grouper, and these are the big groupers, the Goliath groupers. The big ones, they start out as females, and in the mangroves they live. And then as they get bigger, they go into the deeper waters of the reefs and the wrecks, and they become males. They become females, excuse me. No, they become males, I think. So, it's kind of a flip of the coin. Some of them stay females, some of them become males. So you see, these fish have a lot of different types of adaptations. Something I didn't know.
Yeah. And I remember when being in Africa, impala is one of the species of antelopes or mammals over there that they don't change, but nature has it. If there are too many of one species, they will have young that are the opposite. So that the impala was one animal that could predetermine what was going to be born, male or female, depending on the need of the herd, because those herds were hundreds and hundreds, of animals.
The other animal over there that is hermaphroditic are the hyenas.
Hyenas, yeah, that's interesting.
I think the raccoon dog is hermaphroditic too. I think, but I'm not sure about that.
Huh? Yeah,
so
it's
there's
amazing.
Not many of them out there.
Right.
Some of the reptiles are too. It sticks in my mind that copperheads and possibly water moccasins are. There's some other types of reptiles that are too, and they're just recently finding out these types. But
do they have a rough idea of why it happens?
I think for breeding purposes, if one population gets
kind of like the impala.
And, kind of like the impalas and some of the crocodilians. Their eggs, the sex is determined by the temperature of the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of neat too.
Really,
there's a lot of neat things out there.
Wow.
Nature's just amazing.
What, Carl?
I had a message from Michael Bray, who's out fishing.
Yes.
He said to quit talking about catfish because every
catch.
time you say catfish, he catches one.
one.
Oh, really?
And I asked him if he caught any hermaphrodites yet.
Oh. Okay, we'll take a short break. We'll be back.
Hits up that old New Brunswick line. To Montreal, he comes just a-flying with another big load of potatoes. It's Spud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling. The Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig. They're from Prince Edward Island. They're from Prince Edward Island. Now the Ontario Provincial Police don't think much of Bud.